Good morning. I'm Steve Cothron. I'm with Millwrights Local 1000. Been a member here for 38 years. We're part of the Florida Carpenters Regional Council. We'd like to welcome everyone from the National Association of Black Journalism to Tampa, Florida, and hope you have a wonderful convention. Hope you enjoy Tampa. It's a great town. And we want to thank so much the National Association of Tourism and so forth for helping host this thing and spreading the goodwill on what everything's about as far as reaching out to everybody in the community. Thank you.
I have firsthand knowledge of what the Millwrights do here locally, and it is by far one of the most diverse and professional organizations, that I've been associated with. Why do you think? How did that come about? What made this, and what do you see? What effort did it took to make this such a diverse and professional organization?
Well, first thing, it takes a commitment, okay? A commitment to reality and a commitment to the fact that we're all minorities of some fashion, okay, in this world, and for working people to have a good standard of living and for a good life, they have to all band together and make things work. And there are those of us who's been years out there working in this trade. Our union has been about diversity forever. If you go back 125 years and 130 years in our union, diversity, banding together is what formed our union, and there was all different types. There was German locals, there was Italian locals, there was English locals, black locals, Polish locals, and they all come together for one common cause. There were groups of folks in this country that work together, and they come together for the ultimate cause of having a better standard of living. And we all work together and make it better for all of us, or we all work individually and a few of us have a little better and most of us don't have it so well. And those of us here at Local 1000, after years of hoping to see things get better and the middle class continually deteriorating because of infighting and squabbling, finally decided on our own part, let's reach out and give everybody a chance. Quite frankly, it's no big secret. I've said it many times. This local union was like a lot of other local unions 30, 35 years ago. It was a country club. Mm-hmm. And it could have had a sign out front that said Country Club Local 1000, but it didn't. It said Millwright Local 1000. And you had to be kin to somebody or knew somebody to get in. And when I came in here, we had a new leader in the early 70s who wanted to dispel that rumor. And we went through a period of time in the early 70s where anybody who could go out there and work hard and be part of the team and make things happen was welcome into the union. Then when the economy turned sour in the late 70s, we started contracting, and it was about stop recruiting, stop reaching out. And later on, after some turbulent times in the 80s, some of us got a chance in the very late 80s and the early 90s to get an opportunity to try to put us back on the right course. And that's what we've been doing here since a handful of us got a chance to take charge, is reaching out to anybody, and no country club. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be somebody's son or somebody's daughter, and you don't have to part your hair a certain way. If you got a really good attitude and you want to be part of something big and you understand what our trade's about and we can find room, we want you in here.
What impact did you think this have on our country and the media if they can practice what you do or what we do here every day? How do you think that will have an impact on our country?
On our country? Well, I think it'll have a tremendous impact on our country, and ultimately there's a lot more people and a lot more entities practicing this than what you really realize. Only thing is, it's new to people. When you start talking about being a country club, it goes back to politics. And virtually any entity you can think of has politics. I mean, what is the definition of politics? Definition of politics, in my opinion, is jockeying in the food chain for influence and for position in the food chain. There's more politics in Little League Baseball than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Flat out.
Mm-hmm.
Why is my kid sitting on the bench and this other one's playing ball?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why? Because maybe that parent bought all the jerseys for the team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, somehow we got to get past that, and all over this country there's people pushing us past that. We just probably don't get the recognition and we don't get the exposure. Why? Because we're not looking for exposure. We're just trying to make it better. If you go back to our founding fathers, George Washington's considered the founding father of this country.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't George Washington. It was hundreds of little guys just like him.
Mm-hmm.
He just had a big enough personality to wind up leading us.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes hundreds, thousands of people all across this country to make change in all their own little parts.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just trying to do our part here.
You mentioned that you grew up on a farm.
Spent my summers on my farm.
Summer with your grandmother.
On my grandmother's farm.
And that you all had workers that worked for your grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Hands.
Mm-hmm.
And many of them were black.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned that you was able to eat right along beside them and stuff like that. Did you think that had an impact on your thinking and the way you view the world?
I think it had a profound impact on me that we're all the same. We're all out there trying to make a living, scratch our living, get along and survive in this world. I didn't have any sense that we're supposed to treat the hands any different than the family. And they were treated like family. I mean, I can tell you some significant stories, but employees don't have to be just employees. I mean, there can be care from management, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And in the old days, I mean, in small businesses, most management really cared about their workers,
Mm-hmm.
And the advent of the unions more came from the very bigger businesses, I think,
Mm-hmm.
that traumatized the workers and wouldn't allow them to band together for shorter work days and more money.
Mm-hmm.
In my own personal life growing up, just our little part.
Mm-hmm.
It was all about working together and trying to make it, regardless of whoever runs the operation. And in that operation up there that I spent my summers growing up in, it was a family-run operation, and my two uncles and my grandmother pretty much ran it. And this ain't about union and non-union workers. I mean, this is about the workforce of America.
Mm-hmm.
There've been a few generations that was born and spoiled like crazy from the time they were born. They thought because they were born in America, they deserved 2 chickens in every pot and 2 cars in every garage.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't how it works.
Mm-hmm.
You got to work. That's what makes American economy work, is the productivity. And overall, overwhelming majority of the people in this country work very hard.
Mm-hmm.
And what we got to do is get them few extras that make the whole team work.
Mm-hmm.
No team gonna win the Super Bowl
Mm-hmm.
if they got 1 or 2 players out of that 11 out there laying down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes. And ladies and gentlemen, that's just a classic example of the type of people that we have in this community we call Tampa Bay. A commitment to quality, a commitment to diversity, getting the job done. And that's his motto: get the job done, get it done safe, get it done quickly. And so this is the kind of environment that tourists and conventions will come into this town. We got it done during the Super Bowl. We getting it done during the big sporting events. We get it done for little as big convention. And it's the kind of attitude that Mr. Cothron has that makes this town what it is. And we thank him for his time. And I'm sure that we'll hear a lot more and see a lot more for the Millwrights. I mean, I see them as having a great future, not only here in Tampa, but a great impact on our country and the world as well, because we are in the most economically significant and politically influential community in the world. Thank you very much.
All right.